Hi, everybody. My name is Debbie Shear with Debbie Shear Speaks, and thank you for choosing to watch this video. I am a humorist and a speaker, an MC, and a licensed benefit auctioneer. And so my role, everything I do, has me in front of an audience, whether that is in person or virtual. And so today's topic is going to be around the concept of inclusive language and why I am going to advocate, if you are in a speaking capacity in any way, shape, or form, that you embrace using inclusive language if you don't already do so. And if you are using it, thank you. Keep going, keep going, keep going. Thank you so much. So, why is inclusive language important? Well, because of connection. So when you are in front of an audience, you're probably the goal of what you're doing is trying to connect with your audience, right? Because when we connect with the guests, the audience, we are able to then connect them to what is going on, whether that's a fundraising experience, a presentation that you're doing, a 3-day conference that you're emceeing. Connecting with the audience is so important. And there's another video that talks all about connection. But that is why using inclusive language, matters, because language is the fastest way to connect with people. It just is. And when we don't use inclusive language, that is also a quick way to have guests start to disengage, disconnect, and really shut down from the experience that they're having. And so we don't want to cause that to happen. And shifting our language is actually pretty easy. And I would say it's the right thing to do. So let me give you an example and we'll work through this. Imagine you're a guest at an event and out comes the MC, the very first person that you see for the night. And they start by greeting the crowd with, "Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. How are you guys doing tonight?" Now, the question could be, is that MC a horribly insensitive, cruel person? Obviously, the answer is no. Let's hope the answer is no. But is it fair to say that that MC just doesn't know better, is functioning like many of us do on the belief that expression and gender identity live on this, binary terms, meaning male or female? I'm going to say that's probably more of likely the situation. And so while it seems like that's not a big deal to welcome a crowd with "ladies and gentlemen," and while it's true that perhaps the majority of the people in that room might very well identify in that way, what is happening for the people who don't identify in those binary terms? Because the truth is, that doesn't really exist. Identity and expression is all along a continuum. And so we need to evolve our language to embrace that continuum. If you are in the audience and you don't identify along those binary terms, you are probably, whether you know it or not, slowly starting to check out of the experience. And that creates an exclusive environment, which is not what we want to do, which is the opposite of connection. So when we know better, it really is our responsibility to do better. And so, what if we reframed our language and it's something as simple as this: "Good evening, everyone. Welcome to tonight," or "Welcome to today," or "Welcome to whatever event you're involved in," right? "Good evening, everyone. How are you doing tonight?" That is including everybody in the room, regardless of how they identify. And it wasn't hopefully a big shift for you to do that. So people have said to me, "I'm nervous because I feel like I'm going to mess up and I don't want to make a mistake." And my answer is yes. Yes, we will make mistakes. And to me, and hopefully to you too, a mistake means, okay, I got out there, I tried it, I hit some bumps along the way, and I learned, and I'm redirecting and reshifting, and I'm going to keep trying. Because I look at this language just like anything else. If I wake up tomorrow morning and I say, you know what, I want bigger biceps, and I head off to the gym, I'm not going to instantly pick up 45-pound dumbbells, although that would be amazing to see everybody's facial expression when I did that. I'm not going to pick up 45-pound dumbbells and do a few bicep curls and walk out with the biceps that I want. No, I have to go in and I have to train every day, and I have to retrain the muscles to build them. And then once I get my biceps where I like them, wherever that is, I have to keep going because it's something that requires practice. And that's the same thing with using inclusive language. You practice. And I tell people, practice when you're making dinner, practice when you're in the car, practice when you're in the shower, practice, practice, practice all the time until, if you're not someone who where that language is super fluid, until that becomes very fluid to you, until you've eliminated the ladies and gentlemen, the hey guys from your mindset. And so what happens when we do make a mistake? What happens when we make a mistake in front of an audience? It doesn't matter if you're in front of 20 people or 5,000 people, mistakes will happen. And so when that happens, the key is to correct and move on. I don't think we need to fall to the ground and start sobbing uncontrollably and begging for forgiveness. I don't think that needs to happen. And I'll tell you why in a moment. But all we need to do is correct. So here would be an example. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Excuse me. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to tonight. And then you move on. And what's fascinating about this is when you do that, A, you've survived, which is now telling your brain, okay, I can make mistakes and I can be okay with the mistakes and move on and learn from them and correct quickly. And you're also going to notice that your audience did not get up and leave. They actually stayed. And I would guess that most people didn't even notice. Maybe they did, maybe they didn't. But the fact is, you didn't see a room of 500 people leave because you accidentally said, ladies and gentlemen, and then quickly corrected. What's amazing and beautiful about humans is we are quite compassionate. And so when we know that somebody's trying, we want them to succeed. So keep that in mind. People want you to succeed when you're learning and growing and using inclusive language. So if you are a speaker in any capacity and you are trying to connect with an audience, please try and embrace using inclusive language. Please practice using inclusive language. Reach out to me. I'd love to role play with people around using inclusive language so they start to get comfortable with it. Let me know what other things you've decided to use instead of a standard ladies and gentlemen, hey guys, instead of something like that. And if you are someone who is responsible for hiring speakers, for hiring MCs, for hiring auctioneers, my challenge to you is to, and if you already do this, fantastic and thank you. But if you're not asking this question of the people you hire, maybe try it out and see how it feels. The next time you're thinking about hiring someone to represent your organization, which is what they're doing when they are on the stage to represent your organization, ask them during the interview process, talk to me about inclusive language. What does that mean to you? How do you use that? How do you make a crowd, an audience, how will you make our guests feel part of this experience? If that person starts to sweat profusely, if that person cannot figure their way out of this, is so seemingly uncomfortable, maybe that isn't the right person to represent your organization. So those are my tips for you around inclusive language. Please leave me a comment. Let me know what you think. Let me know some other things that you're doing to embrace inclusive language and bring them into your speaking. And let me know what other topics you would like to hear about. Thanks so much. Have a wonderful day, and we'll see you soon.